back. This is Fantastic Pains and How We Hide Them. I'm NotChris.
I'm not Karina.
But we're here together.
As usual.
For more fun times and
Shenanigans.
Welcome to the party. If this is your very first time, this is our sibling duo podcast / YouTube channel about life with chronic and invisible conditions, including those that are mental and emotional.
Because I'm mental and she's emotional.
Indeed. A lot these days.
Yeah.
It's hard. Where can they find us?
Oh, you could find us on YouTube if you want to watch the action.
Which
and
you should.
See our lives, which are really good, our live streams.
Yes.
You can find us on most podcast platforms for the audio onlys. Mm-hmm. And then join the Discord if you want to talk to us or have questions or want to talk to us during the live stream.
Yes. Join our amazing community because they rock.
They do.
We love them. Kind of fantastic.
Yep.
Beautiful. Well then, it is time for the weekly recap.
Check in. We're not going to do it.
No.
We're going to go right into our subject.
Right. He is leading me along here because I'm a little nervous.
I don't know what you're nervous
tell
for.
Me. I trust you, but I'm like, it's not nerves. It's just anticipation, I think.
Yeah.
He won't tell me what the topic is.
No,
so.
I came up with it on the fly, and I'm going to just let it rip.
Okay.
We're talking today about your week.
Oh, good.
Because there's so much in it.
Yes.
Like, I want to talk about the fact that you have trigeminal neuralgia.
Yeah.
The experience of that.
Yes.
And then we could get into how you would like to be treated.
Yeah.
And how you are being treated.
Yeah.
By medical professionals.
Mm-hmm.
I think that whole journey would make a great
Fair enough.
episode.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, then to recap, for those of you who do not know, I have a slew of conditions and then recently leveled up last year about this time, actually, like right around this time is the crazy part, with trigeminal neuralgia, which is pain that affects one or more of the branches in your face. They are major. It is a really, really painful condition. It's also known as the unaliving disease because people just can't stand it and there's not enough good help out there.
And I can't say it. I'm gonna say it. It's usually attributed to people who have trigeminal neuralgia, but also have the migraine aspect of it. Now, note that I'm saying this sarcastically, and remember this for later.
Yes.
Because we'll get back to that.
We'll get back to it. We'll loop around. Just do a wrap around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, let's start with my week. Good God. How did this even go? So, Monday, I don't even remember at this point.
That's probably not great.
Yeah, because it was a really bad weekend.
It
was a really, really bad weekend. I was not enjoying myself at all. Not a good time. Nobody loved it. There was a lot of like fetal position and rocking trying to get through the pain because it just is awful.
Mm-hmm. And
I know pain. I'm good at pain. Like, this is not a new thing for me. But holy moly, the face pain is a different breed of pain. Let's see. So, Wednesday, Thursday were really difficult. And then I wound up reaching out to my doctor. That's what I did on Monday, I think.
Yeah, that started the trend.
Okay. So I reached out to my doctor because, backing up, my bad. There's so much to cover. It's really hard to like lay it out
in
flat.
a week.
Yes. So the trigeminal neuralgia went into like a remission period where it was mostly quiet for a long time. And that happened in about
like June last year,
mid-June. And then it's picking back up now. And so I emailed my pain care team. This is Kaiser, mind you, so it's not great. Emailed my pain care team and was like, hey, this is happening again. Any suggestions? What do we do? What's the game plan?
Literally open for like... Yeah. And what were you looking for as a response?
I was like, I need a game plan, guys, because you can't just... Because last year, they just left me to be in pain. They were like, you're on all the medications that we would put you on. Bye.
Right.
And I was just like,
well, you think in that year that they would have picked stuff up or learned things or...
But the fact of the matter is that they don't understand the condition and they don't care to.
No.
And that's the problem, is that I don't care to.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you cared to, you would understand that the remission periods, it's gone forever.
Right.
because that's what happened last year. I finally saw neurology, and it had been like 3 days since the major episode had ended.
Yeah.
And he was just like, oh, good, it's gone now. Okay, bye. And I was like, dude, what? What?
Yeah,
It's not
literally.
gone forever. And he was like, oh, I don't know. Let me know if it comes back.
Well, and a quick Google search talks
Yes.
about how this is a condition that has remission periods.
Yes. Yeah.
Remission being a word that doesn't mean gone forever.
Right. Which is just, it's just irritating
Mhm.
that they are not willing to like, oh, I could do a simple Google search
Right.
to figure this out.
So you emailed
Yes.
and
Then
you were looking for normal help.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
anything.
I was just looking for somebody to be like, oh no, I'm so sorry that's happening. Let's get you hooked up with what you need.
Yeah.
Or like, let's try a different thing. Or here are your options. Or even just freaking come out right and say, I can't help you. Because
Right.
because I feel like that's where we're at and they're just beating around the bush. So I get a phone call. Yeah. The next day-ish. I think maybe it was the same day.
It was Wednesday.
Was it Wednesday?
I think it was Wednesday.
It was either Tuesday or Wednesday when I got the phone call.
Yeah.
And this is just a nurse in the practice. And she's like, hey, I'm just calling on behalf of your pain team. We got your email. What have you tried? Like, what are you doing to take care of it? Like, what does it feel like? Like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Fill me in so I can give them information. And then she goes into like this just really weird way of being like, oh, well, something must have happened to you around this time of year.
Right.
Which was the first like head tilt moment where I was like,
What?
What? What do you mean? What? And she starts backpedaling and she's like, oh, like, I mean, allergies. And I was like, that's not what you said, though.
No.
And then,
She let something slip.
well, and then she knew I was not happy about it because I was like, don't talk to me about that. No, because I've heard from them time and time again that like, oh, you're in pain. It's your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I've done a lot of work, and I'm very good at this. Ow. Evil face. Ow. I'm gonna try to talk through it, but sometimes I lose track.
If she trails
because
off,
I can't function because it's loud. So the other part of that phone call was like, oh, are you using your like your exercises?
Oh, yeah.
That Dr. Minahan had given you. And I was like, oh, okay. Because she has me doing this like somatic processing thing, which is fine because I do it for emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Like the feel your feelings. That's how I do feel your feelings.
Yeah.
And so we're going through the process with my therapist. This is before phone call. And it just, we'll loop back to that one because that one's kind of fun too. But in this phone call, I'm telling her, like, yeah, I'm doing the exercises. I know how to do this. I've been doing it before she brought it up. This is what I do. But it doesn't make it not hurt. Like,
right.
And this nurse goes, well, I think your Dr. Minahan just wants to see some effort. And I was like, what? Pardon, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
effort. I need to put in some effort before they're willing to help me.
I don't understand. This person has quick access to your records.
Yes.
Is probably looking at your records.
Yes.
And notes and doctor's notes and things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been seeing your doctor for
a long time.
Yeah, your therapist, like, and you've been doing the work actively since you started, even when you didn't believe in it. Like,
yeah,
you still did the work.
Right.
So it's weird that this person's now coming at you like, maybe you should put in some effort.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck do you mean effort?
Yeah. So that was like the first hint that something was not going to go well with this whole thing. So I think it was like the next day I got an email from my actual doctor, and she just, it's like an email chain of like 3 different emails from her. And in each one, she just insists on it being my fault somehow.
Right.
Where it's this like, well, what did you do to make this happen again? Like, are you taking your meds like you're supposed to? Oh, you are? Maybe we should stop the ones that aren't working.
Right.
And I was like, which was Lyrica, first of all. That's what she was talking about. she wanted to stop the Lyrica, and I was like, no, I've been on the Lyrica longer than I've had trigeminal neuralgia, and I'm not giving that up.
No, that's
that
a
was
staple
like
of normal
the
care.
first thing that helped me get functional
Mhm.
in the very beginning.
Yeah,
we're not doing away with that.
I'm not dropping anything pregabalin.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
Ever. Gabapentin or Lyrica,
No.
always.
Yeah. Ridiculous. The dumbest thing in the world. Like, and it just felt petty. Like she was lashing
Yes.
out at me. And this like, oh, well, if it's not working, then we should just stop it, I guess. I'm like, that's not help.
To me, it feels like she recently got reprimanded for some statistic that you fall into.
Yeah.
That doesn't actually pertain to you. Where it's one of those where there's crossover, right?
Yeah.
Where you fall into this category of patient now,
Yes.
but you're not there because of the same reasons other people are.
Yes. Exactly.
And so, like, you're just the target for this.
It's just so irritating. So irritating. And then the next couple were like, oh, well, it looks like you stopped a medication. And I was like, no, I didn't.
No.
I never stopped the medication. I just had major back supply. Because last year, they put me on 600 milligrams of carbamazepine morning and night, which is a lot. And then I went through a period of like 3-4 days where I couldn't stand up.
Yep.
Because, and I don't even know if you can call it vertigo. It was literally like the world was doing.
That's a vertigo.
Yeah. I had unbelievable vertigo for days.
It was weird.
For days. And I could not function. And then finally got to see like the doctor, and he's like, well, now we know that that's too much of that medication.
Right, so you back down on it.
And then we backed down. But I had already filled, and I had a ton of it. So I was like, no, I did not stop that medication. Still taking that medication. Have been taking it as prescribed. I just had back supply and hadn't filled it.
Yeah.
And that's what they were upset about. And then after letting her know that, like, you're way off base, I haven't heard from her in
silence.
2 days.
Radio silence.
Yeah, 2 business days.
Well, and it probably doesn't help that you're going to see them soon.
Yes.
So they have in their head, they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'll see her next week.
Right.
Which is annoying because you have this urgent problem.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is like, and I've talked to my therapist about this a little bit, where there is such frustration in the, like, I don't know, the feeling of urgency for me not translating to urgency for anybody else, which, like, logically, cool, I understand.
Yeah.
But also, isn't there a part of you that's like, oh my God, you're in crazy amounts of pain that we know is crazy amounts of pain?
The kind of pain that most people would be in the ER for.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're not running around like your head's on fire.
Yeah.
Makes it, to them, it's either like you're playing it up, or they don't understand that you can be in that much pain.
There's no balance. Either it's like, oh, you're playing it up because you're not emoting enough.
Right.
Or it's like, oh, well, we took you at your word because you said you were fine. Right. And I'm like, oh,
but then when you say you're in pain,
I'm in pain, oh, you're playing it up. You're fine.
Right.
So I'm just not allowed.
They don't say
you're
playing it up. What they say is, oh, but you seem fine.
Or like, oh, you couldn't be talking to me if you were in that.
If you were in that much pain, which is how we were raised, actually. Yeah. Was if you were in that much pain, you would be doing something.
Uh-huh.
Never.
You'd be crying. You wouldn't be able to move it. That was always my favorite.
Multiple bone breaks that have occurred. I've had impalements.
That was always my favorite. Was that you wouldn't be able to move it. Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, fully dislocated shoulder, still can move that. Hurts really bad, but can do it. What's up?
Austin. It's his birthday. I don't want to ignore him.
Happy belated birthday, friend. No, I was just making sure everything was okay.
Oh, yeah. No problems.
That we didn't have, like, Zaya coming to get stuff or anything.
No, we're good.
Okay. But, yeah, so that has just been a dead end with medical entirely. And there's just this, like, I don't know if it's, like, disillusionment, but I feel totally let down in so many different ways. And I don't trust them anymore.
Right.
Which is a problem. Like,
I don't even know if it's trust at this point.
Yeah.
It goes beyond trust. There's no actionable, there's no nothing. There's no where for you to go with them.
Yeah. Which is that same, like, if there's nothing you can do, say that.
Mm-hmm.
Say that.
No, because they don't want you looking, though.
Right.
That would send you to care elsewhere.
Yeah.
And they don't want that.
Right. Well, because last year I saw first neurologist who was like, oh, good, it's gone.
Yeah.
And then that was it. That was all I ever heard from him. And then he was the same one who was like, oh, that's too much carbamazepine.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we've learned. And I was like, great. But
I
also
remember that
now
call.
we're back to 0.
Yeah.
Cool. Then I saw the second neurologist who I was like sent to because he was supposed to be really good. And he, like, I left that office just sobbing.
Yep.
Sobbing because this is the guy who told me that I was going to wind up being a professional patient and all of this nonsense.
And the
about,
obviously
like,
negative.
Yeah. And he was just like, well, I'm not going to take you on as a patient because I don't think there's anything that, like, no surgeon's going to want to touch you. And I wouldn't want them to. And, like, all of this just... And then trying to explain pain to me, like, I don't know.
Well, that was the frustrating part. But then to be like, I'm saving surgeons from dealing with you.
Yeah.
Like, go fuck yourself, guy.
I wouldn't even... Yeah, no. Ugh. So, that's where we're at right now. And I'm like, I don't want to make an appointment with neurology because...
You know where that's going to go.
Exactly. Like, last year, we waited for 2 months. They left me in agony for months.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw him and he was like, okay, bye. I was just like...
Which then doesn't help your pain situation. Like,
no.
the like notes that he leaves for them is basically like, well, there's nothing to be done, or whatever negative things he wants to say derogatorily about you in the notes.
And I tried to leave him for the other one.
Yeah.
And the other
and
one
he
said,
drop
no,
you.
thank you. And then the first guy didn't drop me. So I don't even know if I have a neurologist currently, or if I'm going to be like, let's go for round 648.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's fine. Doctor shopping we should do that. We should.
Yeah. But I think the caveat should be maybe not within
to.
an organization that is looking to just better itself.
Right.
That's kind of the takeaway from...
Yes.
Because I have care from 4 different places.
Yeah.
But I have care from 4 different places. If I needed to right now, I could probably message my pain management and they would be like, okay, let's do something about that.
Yeah.
Let's get some imaging done. Let's do something. You know what I mean? There would be a plan.
Yeah. Yeah. And beyond that, like, it feels weird. This part is weird, but is it wrong of me to want some freaking empathy from these people? Because I've not heard not one word of empathy from Kaiser at all. Not one.
No.
And I'm like, I don't think you understand what it is that I have to push through.
Right.
And how much I'm struggling to, like, just do daily anything. And how much I'm struggling to be at work.
Right.
And the fact that, like, at work, I have to go get a heat pack and go cry in a room for a little while. Every once in a while so that I can keep going. Because it's obliteration. Like, the pain is unbelievable.
It's that, like, mind blinking pain.
Yeah.
Where thoughts can't occur.
Right.
So it's you can't reason through it at that point.
Exactly. Well, and then I'm frustrated too because I can't freaking think.
Right.
I can't think. And then I'm trying to do my job and I can't think. And then I'm angry because I can't think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's so impactful. And everybody's just like, la, la, la. And I'm like, I'm dying. Thank you very much.
Well, and it's the wrong people too. Like, you want your work people to be able to just be like, we understand. And
yeah.
They give you
They're
the empathy.
They're doing a really good job,
right.
Actually.
They're giving you the space that you need and the attention that you need.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That was something you had to build and cultivate. But then, like, to get that from your doctors and then to have them, like, talk shop in front of you the way they do.
Yeah.
Because her pain people meet together.
Yeah.
So it's 3 people. It's 2 doctors, a pharmacist, and the pain specialist.
1 doctor, the pain psych, and then the pharmacist.
Oh yeah. Well, in the meetings you do all 3?
Sometimes.
Okay. Which is even worse.
Just the 2. Sometimes it's just the doctor and the pharmacist.
Because at least when you had psych, you had, like, some advocate kind of.
Yeah.
But now it's not.
But I
so
also
much.
don't know what she says behind closed doors.
Right, exactly.
Which is the other part, because I know that she's not understanding.
Mm-mm.
Because, like, here we go. We'll get into the somatization here. Ready? So she's having me do these like somatic exercises that are, it's how you feel your feelings. And I've practiced it that way. I've not like done it for pain necessarily consciously,
Mm-hmm.
but I've done it for feeling your emotions, which is you acknowledge the feeling, then you can go through and start to like focus. You have to like focus on the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, okay, what color is it? Is there movement? Is it blah, 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 blah? And then you have to like, sorry, hold on. Humming is not the move. My bad. Ow. Where the hell was I?
You were talking about emotional, the emotional breakdown. You were talking
yes.
making it, giving it color, giving it.
Yeah. And then she goes through and she's like, I want you to just focus on that body part and just know that you don't have to change the feeling or judge the feeling. Like, can you just observe the feeling?
Yes.
And then she starts going, your body is whole and strong. She's like, your muscles and your organs are taking care of you.
That for me, that's
and I'm like, none of that is helpful, and it actually makes me really
angry.
mad.
Right? It's two things. It's like, one, you know these things about
Yes.
yourself, and you,
Yes.
like for someone to think you needed to hear. I
Right.
don't know. It's like
Well,
baby talking to someone about their bodies. But
Yeah, it's for people who are like, I have pain, therefore something must be wrong.
Yeah.
I know there's nothing wrong. That's the problem.
Right.
And you reinforcing it is just making me mad.
Right.
It's
well, and
just making
like
me mad.
talking. It just seems so
Yes.
negative or condescending, I guess.
Yeah.
In a way.
Well, and it feels that way a lot of the time.
Right.
And like we will get to a point where we are communicating well and understanding each other, and then all of a sudden she'll like pivot and do something like that where I'm like, oh, you really don't get it. And then there's that like, I don't know, I get really frustrated because I don't want to be that person who's like, well, I'm different and I'm special and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't apply to me because
the problem is
I'm
that
so
you are
blah, blah,
different.
blah.
It's not like
Yeah.
you're not trying to say you're special,
Right.
though. You're not trying
I'm
to.
not better
You're
than.
different because you're functionally different.
Yes.
She deals with people that have chronic pain from injuries or,
Yeah.
childhood, whatever.
Right.
But it's a chronic pain,
Mm-hmm.
and these people are fixated on them.
Right.
And they have to be taught how to feel it, how to
Yeah.
get the feelings
And then
unattached
to,
to
like,
it.
let
and,
it
like-
go. And
Right.
Which we're very
And
good
not
at.
judging themselves for having it.
Right.
This is all stuff that we've been through.
Yeah.
As children, we had to go through all this
Yeah.
just to like function.
Mhm.
So like, it's redundant.
Right.
And then to say that you're not doing it or imply that you're not doing it or
Right.
that you're not on
Well,
the
and
same
I'm
page.
like, I don't want to be mad at her yet.
Right.
Like, I'm ready to be mad at her. I'm mad at the nurse because that was out of line.
Mhm.
Out of line. Not okay. You should not be speaking anywhere near that. That's not okay.
Mm-mm.
But I'll give her a shot because I think I see her on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm supposed to see the other doc on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do either. I fully,
You're tuned out.
I don't know. Yesterday I was so pissed. I was just so angry. I was so angry.
You're so
Ugh.
angry. You entered the room and shut me down.
I'm so sorry.
You came in and you had so much and then just like unloaded all of it. And I was
Yeah.
like, if I don't want to be like shakingly pissed off right now, I really just have to like not do things. I have to not feel right now. So like if you watch that live, the Friday live, like
You
the
just-
first half, I'm just like, yep, that's some shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to not fixate on how bad it was.
Well, it's so frustrating. Like, there's a part of me that just, there's so much offense in the fact that someone can sit there and tell you about your pain
Yes.
that you understand.
When especially when they don't have the depth.
Yes. And I'm like, you've never felt anything close to this. Do not talk to me about how functional I should be.
Mm-hmm.
Do not talk to me about how I should be handling the pain. Like, don't. You have no right. You have no right at all. Unless you have had like massive crazy tooth infection, don't come talk to me. And that's one part of it. That's one aspect of the pain.
The rainbow of
Yes.
feeling and even
Yeah.
positions of pain.
Right.
Because it goes from like anywhere on that side of your face. Because It is. It's the 3 nerves. The one that goes to like there's the mandibular, and then
Yeah.
I can't remember the other 2.
There's like the occipital.
Yeah, occipital nerve.
I think it's occipital.
Yeah, because it goes over the eye.
It goes over the eye and like into the eyelid, which I didn't know, which is good to know because that's where I have a lot of pain. It's just under my brow.
Yeah.
And then the other one's in your cheek.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky I get to experience all 3. And also, this one side is starting.
Shh. It's starting
it's not
with me.
Real. Yeah.
I'm picking it up too.
Yeah.
So.
It's not real. We're ignoring this for the time being.
Me too.
That's not a thing.
It's not an emergency.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
No, I'm doing the same thing. Unless I'm in it in the moment, like, okay,
yeah.
wait for it.
And then you're like, oh my God, that hurts.
And then I'm like, okay, go away now. Be gone forever.
Exactly.
And then I forget.
And then you're like, it never happened.
Until I hear you talk, and then I'm like vividly remembering the same thing. And I'm like, God, I hate this.
Yes. Well, and that's the other part is there's so much frustration in the trigeminal neuralgia because if you're not in pain, you're not in pain. Like it is gone.
Right. There's no. It's
so
like
it's
we were saying yesterday.
Or it's not there.
It's like there's a tiny bit of a notification, but it's not a ramp.
Right.
It's a tingle, and then you got stabbed, bitch.
Explosive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awful. And so anytime it's not there, I forget.
Yeah.
I fully forget. Like.
Yeah. I mean, anyone with EDS will understand that.
Well, and like that, I mean, it's a good thing in the long run because it means that I'm not
fixated,
afraid of the pain
all
the time. And I'm not like trying to guard against the pain all the time. Ow.
That's a spicy meatball.
Humming is not great, but it's okay. I didn't like that one. That was like just a brand around my socket.
Also, don't cancel me.
Oh no, this is the appropriate responses.
Okay. Because we don't know if this is doing live. Like what? There are like
what
3,
must other people think?
3 responses that I can give, and they all look bad.
That's because if anybody was like, "Oh, sweetie," I would punch them in the face.
Right, and that's also not me. I'm not. No. But then, like, I could just talk.
Yeah.
Over her and pretend like it's not happening.
He just bridges the gap.
But I don't want to do that. Because, like, you're not able to focus through it, right? So you come back and you're, like, in a different...
And then I'm like, wait, where was I?
Right. And
time has passed, and I'm here now.
I don't know. Something about, especially for the podcast, observing it is important to me.
Well, and I think that means more to me than, like, displays.
Yeah.
In a weird way. Like, because that's the thing. I don't want... like sympathy. I want empathy. I want people to try to understand the pain that I'm in. It's not that I'm like, oh, I wish everybody could feel this. It's like, I wish that you like could empathize, right? Like I wish that you would try to understand it, because for me, understanding it means everything. And that's part of why like the trigeminal neuralgia is frustrating, because
no, you can't.
There's a lot of
no matter what words you use, it doesn't do it justice.
Right. Well,
right?
and
like
then on the other hand, then if you're using words to describe it the way that I want to describe it, because I have a lot of depth of knowledge in pain, and I know how to differentiate different kinds of pains, and we know a lot of different feeling words for pain. But then I feel like I come off as like histrionic, like I'm being hysterical, or like I'm dramatizing it, or you know what I mean? No, I 1000% I know what you mean. Like it's frustrating as hell. Because then on the paperwork they're like, is it burning, stabbing, tingling, or pins and needles? And I'm like, well, it feels like there's a raccoon in my face, and you just put a net over it and it's trying to scratch its way out. Like
I mean, there are times that I have felt something similar to that, so I get that. But
right, like when you know pain, the way that we know pain, there's a lot of differentiation that can be made, And that's why it bothers me when like the pain doctors are like, is it worse than blah blah blah, or is it like better than blah blah blah? Because I can't compare them unless they're happening at the exact same time.
Yeah,
I don't know. They're like, has your pain been better lately? And I'm like, I don't know.
that's why I always default to yes.
Yeah.
Because like I can't remember it being that bad.
But I don't want to have like no running on and on and on. Yes.
Yes.
Because you're like, oh my God, then they're gonna think I'm just lying.
Right. Like they'll think, why am I here? Which is why I have a Jen.
Yeah.
So she's like, no, it was not a good month, you idiot.
Yes.
So that's I can do that real quick.
Yeah.
Like
go for it.
little difference here. So I have an actual.
This is why he's so angry about the way I've been treated.
I have an actual pain management clinic, and a good one. It's not a pill mill. It's not one that doesn't offer like alternatives, and they don't just push alternatives either. It's literally, when I went in there, it was a collaboration. I sat down and I told her, we went over my entire medical history, and she was like, wow, you've been through a lot.
Which, point one.
Yes.
Right there.
Huge.
Boom.
I was sold at that point.
Yeah,
like she didn't have to say anything else. She could have been really mean.
You're like, holy cow, empathy.
I was like, no, you get it.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about things that I do, and she's like, okay, so you're already doing everything that you're supposed to. Like everything I would want you to do, you are doing.
Ding ding.
I was like, hell yeah. And then I told her like what I expect medically, like what like in medication specifically, because I take a lot of different things, right?
Yes.
I'm on actual pain meds. I'm on things for depression that also assist with pain in certain areas, and muscle relaxers that help relax my back, and like a very specific plan. And she was like, okay, I'm gonna take the lead, and I will just ask you how you're doing and what's going on.
Point 3 right there.
And I was
like, ding ding ding, home run.
I go to her appointment, and they sit down and they accuse her. Not straight up. They're not like, it was more like, what did you do? ? And but not in a caring way.
No.
There was no intonation of,
it was like,
are you okay? It was like,
we can't think of any reason anyone would respond the way that you did to that medication, so therefore it must be your fault.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they went back and forth in front of her. Like we weren't there. Just like, oh, well, no, that's not a typical reaction. That's weird. It couldn't have been that.
And I'm like, it's EDS. Everything is weird. Are you paying
attention? And
attention?
It's literally, she had the same reaction that I had, and she prepped them before the thing, telling them that this could happen because it happened to me.
Yep.
Yep. And then they do this other shit. Like, I don't get. I mean, I understand it. I don't get it. Like, how can you be a doctor and be like, well, I've got to follow the company plan and keep you inside the company, but there's nothing we can do, so we're just gonna kind of floss.
We're gonna just keep, exactly. We're gonna keep kicking you to somebody else, to kick you to somebody else, to kick you back to us, to kick you to somebody else. Yeah. And we're gonna make you feel shame the whole way.
Right. There's no support
because it's fun.
No, it's not. And I've been kicked around, but it was not a bad experience.
Yeah.
That was when I was with Diane, and like in the very beginning, that was
like getting you connected with the right people.
She was like, maybe it's this, let's try this specialist. Maybe it's this, let's try this specialist.
Yeah.
And she always approached it with compassion.
Huge. We are looking for an answer.
Yes.
Which is enormous, which is totally different from, we assume the answer is always that it's your fault somehow. And if it's not that, I don't know what to tell you. Good luck. Bye.
Yeah. Well, and they have so many things that they can pick from that they can target at the time, right?
Yeah.
If you happen to say the wrong thing in therapy, that's going to be like a big note that they'll have when they want to talk about changing things, or like, well, therapy, maybe, or it could be, maybe you did something. Like the fact
that I had to increase my antidepressant will come up, I'm sure, at some point.
Yes.
That'll be a fun one, because I'm not in the mood, which is why, I really don't want to do this appointment. Because I'm not in the mood anymore.
Right. I'm
in pain, and therefore don't care. I've got nothing to lose at that point.
No.
I am willing to verbally beat your ass.
Well, and you've been treated to the point where that's where you're at.
Yeah.
That's not easy to get to with you. You're, especially with medical stuff.
Right.
You'll try anything.
Yeah.
And do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, same with me.
The only thing I have ever turned down is the low-dose naltrexone, because they approached it right after the really horrible experience with the other medication.
Yeah.
That I had
They even said that it won't help you with what...
Exactly. They were like, oh, that's all acute pain, and that won't help you with acute pain.
Right.
And then they turned around and told me that I was the one who refused it the first time. And
But you didn't.
I
They
was ready
literally
to get
suggested
on
it.
Yes. I was ready to get on it. We were doing that appointment. And then she goes, Karina, that's not chronic pain. Those are acute pains. And I was just like,
Yes.
yes. Hello.
Mhm.
Welcome to the party.
Right.
But now they're back on that train because that's the only place they can go.
Right. Because they can't.
Which is ridiculous.
They can't send you anywhere that's
when
not
you
in company.
consider how much I'm taking.
Right.
That is the part that is just so baffling to me because I know there are people in Kaiser who are taking 2, 3, 4 times what I'm taking.
Yeah, but you're young and you don't complain.
It's a bad road.
You don't do the same complaining. We don't.
Yeah.
We're not the same as like a 60-year-old man who has an ache.
That's true. Well, and that's the thing. Like, because my therapist's like, oh, well, maybe they're taking you at your word. And I'm like, I don't know how to emote enough pain for you to make sure you understand me without thinking I'm faking or playing it up.
Right.
Because any kind of emote of pain, like I'm going to have to perform pain for you.
Which is why I'm so happy at the place I'm at. I don't have to.
Which is nice.
I can literally tell them that, I'm at like a 3.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's
You're like,
good.
Or
I'm at a 7. They're like, oh,
pain.
it's a bad day.
Yeah.
Or they'll even like question it. Like once I was like, I'm at a 3, and they took my blood pressure and they're like, are you sure? It might be higher.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, it's probably more like a 6.
See, that's so different from like, oh, are you nervous?
Right.
When you tell them you're in pain and they're like, no, you're not.
Well, and there's also just literally the intonation and the fact that we can read micro expressions.
Mm-hmm.
We can read microaggressions. Literally same thing. But like I've had doctors do that, and that like it's usually the nurse who's like checking me in, and she's still being sweet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, oh, are you like genuinely? Do you get nervous at doctor's offices?
Well, that's like Dr. Wright's office is like that.
Yeah.
But they won't let him handle the pain medication.
No, because the company won't let him do it because they have an integrated pain department that wants you to take therapy.
Which is fine. I will agree to therapy. Leave me alone.
Well, therapy and therapy and
I'm in therapy and have been for like 10 years.
Yeah, and you participate. You're not the person sitting there going, no. Did you have a bad time as a child? No, I was fine. Well,
and you and I did so much like deconstructing and processing when we finally like got back together.
Yeah.
And were staples in each other's lives.
Yeah.
That the way I put it to my therapist once was like, it's all pre-chewed trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've already gone over this. So you're not giving me any new skills. You're not bringing me anything new. You're not telling me anything that I don't already know.
Yeah.
And or haven't discovered for myself. I just didn't know it had a name.
Right.
So cool. Glad to know I've been doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's why I got told that one of my therapists, one that I didn't like, but like she was like, "There's nothing I can do for you. You're already doing everything."
Oh yeah.
It's like, but
that bothers me because I'm like, but I still need like help.
Well, and things
sometimes.
Can happen in my life still that I need to process.
Right.
Like,
well, and I'm sorry, like, just the fact of having a chronic condition, you should have I almost said chronic therapist.
You should.
A regular therapist. You should have a therapist because stuff's going to happen and you're going to have to process different things. And grief is going to be a staple in your life.
It'll visit you and visit you and visit you. And then it'll be gone, but then it'll come back. But then it'll come back with a friend. But then it'll go away and you'll feel fine. And then you'll feel guilty and then like impostery. And then it'll come back.
And then you'll have some anger sometimes. And then you won't know how to process that. And then you're going to have imposter syndrome out the wazoo. And then, stop. Sorry.
Getting too riled up.
Yep. You talk. Your
turn.
So
I can't. When you're in pain, I just can't. It feels so disrespectful to be like, well.
I'm listening. It's so horrible. I just can't.
Just tune her out completely. I'm a man, you see, and I do not deal with woman pain. Because everyone knows that woman pain is not real. It's always cramps. Her face pain, she's clearly on her period and has been for like months, and it won't go away. It's disgusting.
Come in with like an open wound, and they're like, your period.
I made that joke last night. And
Did you?
Because there's that scene where Haku comes in and he's all bloody, and then he leaves, and there's blood everywhere. I was like, he's on his man period, and she went, Dad. I was like, what? Look, and then Rory was giggling. It was great.
That scene is prime wump.
Yes.
It's pretty great. Oh my god.
He's on his
He's on
man
his
period.
period.
Well, and
Great.
it was an
Oh.
inside joke that I didn't think I meant to say it out loud because we have the
Yes.
manic
Yes.
period, and he was really manic in that scene.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he was.
So what I
He's
was saying, what I meant to say,
That's really
was
funny.
that he's on his manic period.
And then there
But
was blood
there was
everywhere.
blood everywhere, and I realized it as I was saying it. I was like, oh, double. Scored a double.
entendre. Got him.
Got him. Stupid Haku. River spirit.
You stupid dragon and your dumb whiskers.
My favorite scene that I made fun of. There's the scene where she's like, your name, you're the Kohaku River.
Oh.
And he explodes, and then they fall, and they're both excited. And I turned it
like-
down and I dubbed it, and it was like, it cuts to Chihiro, and Chihiro's like, you're the Kohaku River. And then he was like, you've doomed us. I can no longer fly. We will die in literally seconds.
We're gonna die.
And it cuts back to her, and
I
she's
mean-
like, at least we die together. And he's like, this is not how I want to die.
I didn't ask for any of this.
The kids loved that. They thought it was
That's
hilarious.
fantastic. I love that. That's
Because he does. He
amazing.
explodes, turns into a
He
boy, and they
does.
fall to their deaths.
He's just like
Watch the movie. It's really good. Spirited
go watch
Away.
Spirited Away. I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna start like melting here in a minute. But
It is about time for you to be melting.
yeah. I don't know. I think the big thing is that I'm trying not to hit the runaway brain
Yeah.
of burn it all down, because I'm there. I'm mad. I am done
What
with all their
the
shit.
problem is that you
It's not even the runaway brain at this point. It's
No,
like
but
being treated really
that's-
badly.
that's a trauma thing. You're consciously aware that you have the tendency to want to do this.
Yes.
But I honestly think that that's the healthy thing to do in this situation is to say fuck it, give it the fuck it adjustment, and look elsewhere.
Well, and my husband and I are going to look into doing insurance through his employer because they're going to, I think, United.
Right.
So that would give me options.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be nice? Because I'm just tired.
No, you're stuck in a loop.
just tired. Yeah. They just keep running me through like the tracks, and I'm like, just say you
Well,
can't help me. Just
and-
say that.
And I don't know if it's intentional or not. They're just feeding. They're all their own Latina best friend, giving them bad advice. You know what I mean? Like you go to one specialist, he reads the notes, has an idea of
Yeah.
who you are as a person,
Yeah.
treats you shitty,
Yep.
then sends you on. It was like, well, she was a monster,
Uh-huh.
or you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, oh, there was nothing that could be done, even if it's
Yeah.
innocuous. Like,
Right.
it,
Right. Well, and it always comes back to being my fault.
yes.
This is not my fault. I did not do this. I did not do this.
But they
Nobody
don't-
wants this.
They don't understand that. They don't deal with
They're
people
like,
like us.
How did you make this happen? I don't know. I did a Google search.
Honestly,
I'm not kidding. I did a Google search and found out that it can in fact be seasonal. So,
yes.
I mean, I don't have enough information to make a pattern, but there's a very reasonable projection here.
Literally.
And they're
It's
like,
following the same
how could
pattern.
it possibly be? And I'm like, because it comes back. Do none of you know that? Like,
No,
what
they don't.
the
They know nothing
hell?
about it. But
No,
they
and
don't
that's the
treat
thing. I'm
people
like,
that are unique.
I don't want to be unique.
But you are.
I hate this.
You are.
And I just keep feeling like I don't have like the angry at God thing or like the why,
No.
but I have the like, how many lessons? No, it's that Ren line where he says, how many lessons in this life must I live through?
Yep.
I'm learning so many lessons that I'm begging for them to just stop.
hmm
And that's where I'm at, is like, why?
She
How-
walks through the shadow of the valley of sickness.
I fear no evil.
She needs no forgiveness. Deliver her from temptation. He never listens.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the next line, but I got distracted.
You're fine.
Yeah. But that's how I feel about it, is like,
Yeah.
oh my God, why? Am I just here to be an example?
I mean,
I'm
what
just
if you
a
are
really
though?
weird floor model?
I mean, I'm not saying that that's it, but what if that's it?
Maybe. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad thing. I'm not judging it either way, but
No.
like, really, guys, we've got the EDS, we've got the POTS, we've got the MCAS, we've got the What's the other
Chronic depression.
No, well, yeah, we have the depression.
Anxiety disorder. Sorry, I'm personalizing her trauma.
It's so funny though.
She's not manic, so she doesn't have
and then
the
I had
bipolar.
shingles.
She had shingles, guys.
I had shingles
and blew it off
in my 20s.
and powered through it until they got to the point where it was untreatable, and they were like, "Oh, that was actually shingles that you just lived through."
Yep. And then I had people like, oh, shingles is the most painful thing I've ever had.
That was a Tuesday.
Why am I here?
I know.
I mean, if I am, like, that's fine. But, like, the lessons I'm learning, I feel like I learned this lesson before, and I don't really want to
the lesson
learn it
here
again.
is that it's okay to move on, I think.
Yeah.
That's really...
Right. Well, and I think there's something about fear, too, is... Because we talked about the lead up to the... We're getting closer to the anniversary and the anxiety. But now that it's back, the fear's dissipated.
Right.
Which is an interesting reaction. So instead of the like, oh my God, I knew it. It was just a like, yep. Yeah, exactly. It was just, yep.
I get that.
Here
1,000%.
We're here. Got it.
Like, I just relate it to back stuff. After I made the connection that I have a nerve issue that's very similar, I was like, oh, I totally, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there was the initial fear of it coming back. But then once it's back, you're just like, okay.
You're like, okay, this is, yep.
Now we do this again.
Yeah, exactly. The frustrating part for me is work.
Yes.
And I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but they're going to have to tolerate whatever comes next because I can't put myself through what I did last year.
No.
Where it was just going to work, crying all day long.
Cry break. Getting
again
in your car,
and again.
driving
and then
around
calling
crying
you,
and,
crying.
I was
and
okay
then
with
working and then calling you again.
I don't mind that. I could do that all day.
I just
I
don't
could
want to
listen
do
to you
that.
cry all
I just
day.
don't want to do that for the next 6 weeks. I still have time left.
I'm game.
I need,
Let's do
like,
it. You know what?
I could do like 3 weeks maybe, and then come up on break.
What? You can't handle me for
do
6
like
weeks? 6 weeks of me?
I can't do this.
Oh, it's all about you.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is. No, I'm just
Literally the idea
Please,
of this
God,
episode.
I don't want it to be about me.
Literally. And my process to get here was, she can't, there's nothing else in your brain right now.
Yeah.
So why not go into it?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it helps so much to be able to like process it.
Yes.
Just out loud.
Yeah.
And especially the mistreatment, because there's still that part of you coming from trauma that is willing to accept treatment that you should not.
That's huge. That's what I've been thinking about, like in the background of my brain.
Yeah.
But that exact thing,
that
you're willing to just suffer through it.
Right. Well, and for me, I feel that a lot of places in my life where it's like, I am so good at the like pivot and adapt.
Yeah.
That I will pivot and adapt until we're at a like major detriment.
So you're
like,
maladaptive.
I have exactly.
Maladaptive.
I'm maladaptive.
I'm maladaptive. I will adapt to bad.
Maladaptive.
I will adapt to the bad.
Exactly. But I do. And then I just push through. And then people are like, well, why did you let it get this bad? And you're like, I don't know. It was Tuesday.
God, my tooth. Wow. Why didn't you earlier? Money.
Yeah.
And I could handle it until.
Yes. Well, and there's something so frustrating about being a person in pain and then realizing that there's almost never going to be a point where you can't.
Right.
Because for me, I was always looking for the can't as an excuse to stop.
Right. Which makes it hard to stop because we never give it to ourselves.
Exactly.
We're like, I still
if
can.
I can, I will.
Yeah.
And I did.
I had to learn how to stop doing that.
Ooh,
it's so hard to still
lesson.
do. It's not. And it's so hard to continue.
Feel selfish
you do.
Doing it because you're like, well, I could.
Yeah.
But you're like, also, should you have to?
Right.
And that's kind of where I am now, where I'm like, I don't want to hear about your like weird somatization coping skills right now.
I had that moment.
I don't want to have to deal with that.
I had that moment when I was cleaning up the office because like I took everything out. I had to sort it all.
Yeah.
But I threw my hip out and my knee's getting really bad,
Oh,
right? So I can't
yes.
stand, and sitting is really painful. I need to
Yeah.
lay down.
Yeah.
And ice it really is what I've been doing. But I was at the point where I was like, I'm just gonna have to ask somebody to help me break these boxes down
Mhm.
because there's no way I can do it.
Right. You're like, I can.
It would be
But-
bad for me to do it though.
Yeah. It's a weird thing to like learn self-preservation when you historically have had none.
Right.
Like all my kids know it's really funny. I don't startle
Right. You're like, oh, this
because
is
I'm
death.
just like, is that we're dying now?
Death becomes us.
Oh, okay.
I
Let me
hate
get
that,
my
though.
bag.
I always feel so bad when it's like when you're like, oh, I could have died. Oh well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like there's
I could have died. Oh well.
oh well. I didn't.
That's about it.
Like Jesus.
Oh yeah, learning self-preservation is a challenge.
Mhm.
A challenge. But it's one thing when like, oh, I'm gonna limp for a day because my ankle's out or whatever, and then I'm
Mhm.
gonna put it back in and it's gonna be sore and it'll be fine.
Right.
But, like, that's routine.
Yeah.
That's every
That's the daily.
day at exactly 3 p.m.
Right.
I don't
That's
know.
I'm gonna go hang out with Austin has become okay. I need to set my knee every hour before it
Mhm.
gets too bad.
Yeah.
Set my knee, burning pain for the next 10 minutes, and then I'll be fine.
Right.
While
Right.
I'm doing whatever.
Yes.
Like that's just a background process.
And this is not that.
No.
And I wish
No.
there was a better way to communicate that. And I know you get it with the back because
Oh yeah.
it's not the same.
No.
It is a kind of pain that like you instantly feel ill to your very bones.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like malaise all the way to your core.
Yeah.
Like every time it hits really, really bad. Like right now it's kind of doing flashes and electric stuff. And it's fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But when it smashes into me like a train and I lose my ability to like be,
Yeah.
I just stop being. I don't exist for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is not the same as other pain.
No.
It's just not.
Nerves are a scary,
Oh,
scary proposition.
God. Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that I'm losing feeling in things instead of having it die slowly and be worse.
Yes.
You know, like extreme pain.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's the thing is like, we go from like, because my coworker was talking about, she's like, I heard it described as like a constant, like ice headache, like brain freeze.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, that's one aspect.
Yeah, that's what it can
That's
be.
one
That's one.
feeling. That's one sensation it can
Well,
be.
think of every feeling your nerves can feel to
Yeah.
its extreme,
Right.
turned up all the way.
Mhm.
So, like with sneezing, you like the sneeze
Yes.
feeling that turns
The
into
sneeze
pain.
feeling that turns into pain. That one sucks.
Yeah.
And then like you feel it in your gums, you feel it in your teeth. Like I have pain in teeth I don't have in my face any longer.
Yep.
Why? Because nerves. Like it's just the worst.
Yeah.
It's just the worst. And I just look like I'm giving birth all the time. I just have to stop for contractions every once in a while.
Literally.
Oh my God. But I don't know. That's just here we are again, and we'll see what happens.
The same. Okay, this is like a total random
No, go
thought,
for
but
it.
you brought birth into it. I think I was looked down on during Jen's birthings
Oh no.
because I gave her space to be in pain.
Because you were not fussing over her constantly.
I wasn't like, you can do this.
I would want
I got you. No, the most like what I needed to do was to be there for her to crush my hand when she needed to crush my hand, and I was
Right.
down for that.
Yeah.
It's like go for it. I was
Yeah.
telling her, it's like squeeze.
Yeah.
Go
because
for it.
like when you're in that much pain, everything is overwhelming.
Yes.
And then the only emotion you're able to feel is angry. You
Yeah.
just are angry at everything around you, and you're like, why are those birds chirping? I'm gonna end everything. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just Thanos snap the world into non-existence.
It's
Like,
that
if
line
someone
from
was
that.
fussing at me, I would be more overwhelmed and more angry.
There's that line in that song that I like. It's I don't want to feel better. I
Mhm.
just want the stars to burn.
What
Like,
song?
It's one of those ones by what's her name? The one who
Is it
did
like
the
one of the-
Cigarette Ahegao stuff.
Oh, okay. I was
Her.
like, is it one of the like micro pop things?
Kind of,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you fucking imagine?
I have a very cold arm, and I think my shoulder's out because my wrist is not working very well. Either.
Oh. Oh, is it weak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weak and cold. It's the cold that bugs me. I don't
Mhm.
like it. My
That's the
joints
heart
feel
attack
cold.
that you're not having.
Oh, great.
It's called
I would never
pleurisy.
know. I would literally never know.
Same.
Because half the time I'm just like,
I've
oh,
had
was that a
pains
heart
that are
attack?
nerves that go down
Yeah.
my left arm and mimic a heart
You're
attack
like, was
verbatim.
that a heart attack that I just had a minute ago?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll keep you guys posted because this could get interesting. If it's anything like last year, it literally went from about this time straight through to June.
Mm-hmm.
And it only got worse until that point.
Right.
And then it was like, boom, gone. And I was just left standing there like, did I just get struck by lightning? And then the sky evaporated?
It was weird. It was a
What?
weird day. You guys
I
remember
don't
that?
know.
That was her.
I was indoors and I got struck by lightning. And whew,
Ozone. It
The
was
heck?
weird.
I don't know. But yeah, we'll keep you updated. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. Sorry. It's for an episode idea. I thought it was the only thing
No, it's
that
a good one.
felt appropriate.
Yeah. I appreciate
I wasn't going to be like, let's talk about how it's hard to touch base with friends
it.
when you're chronically ill. When you're like, my
What's
face
a
is
friend?
eating me. No one loves in this world. Everyone dies alone.
Yes.
I will end you.
One day we'll have to talk about, because he's sleeping, so I can actually say it. One day we'll have to talk about like partner anxiety,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because I know this is really hard for him also.
Well, and it's hard for you for it to be hard for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Like I don't want him to worry.
That
Like,
was the worst part of
He's
me
very
being.
much worried.
That was the worst part of sepsis, was watching Jen be worried
Yeah.
about me.
Like the you can tell they're scared.
Yeah.
It's a weird place to be in, and then to be the source of that fear
Hmm.
and anxiety, but also trying your best to like play it all off.
Yeah.
But they know better because they, I don't know, have been with you for like 15 years. Weird.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We're at time.
It's time. All right, my friends, thank you for coming along on this crazy journey. We appreciate you guys a lot.
Yeah. Hopefully this isn't okay.
Yeah.
Like, I figure we've talked a lot about it, the trigeminal
I think
neuralgia,
it'll
but
be-
like this
It's more in
this
depth.
specific situation, I think, is
Yeah.
really intriguing and needs to be talked about. So,
Right. Well, and it's going to trigger a lot of change, I think.
yes.
And so it's a good place to be to turn that page.
Yeah.
Be able to start a new chapter. So, I don't know. Make sure that you drink some water,
Mhm.
hydrate or dihydrate.
Have a snack because you are a snack.
You are. You're a snack and a star. Go outdoors and get some sunlight if you can. I don't know what the weather's like, but hopefully it is lovely out and you can get some sun for a bit.
Yeah. Medicate.
Yes.
Stop not medicating.
And do something nice for yourself. Good luck with that.
There's no blues in this episode. Those are black. This is black. I'm black. We're all black. Hi. I'm a mutt. I
I'm
can
black.
say it.
It's okay. Yeah. We're black. We
I
are.
just don't look
In
it.
case you were wondering. On that note, it's time to say goodbye because this is devolving very rapidly.
Wait, I have to do the bipolar check.
Oh yes, okay. Bipolar check.
Bipolar bears. Are you manic? Are you not? Enjoy the moment if you aren't.
Yeah.
And contain yourself if you are.
Continue.
It's the only way I can
Think it through.
Yes. Yes. Be logical.
Like throw that idea up against the wall to see if it sticks a few
Maybe
times before
ask
you
somebody.
act on it.
If that's a normal thought or a manic thought. I do that
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. A reality check. That's what we call it.
Yeah. Just
Anywho,
Yeah.
Be kind to you. Be kind to others, and we will see you in the next one.
bye.
Tired.
Yeah.
That was good though.
Yeah?
I appreciated it.
Oh, good.
I
I was worried
did.
that you wouldn't like it.
No, I did. I appreciate it.